Hello, everyone. No intro music, I'm guessing.
I
Yeah,
gave
fuck
up
it.
on
No,
intro
none
music.
Yeah,
needed.
fuck it. Fuck it. Uh, welcome to your Identity Crisis episode. Who the fuck even knows anymore? It has been a hot minute. Uh,
139.
139. There we go. Thanks, Justin. I'm your host, Ryan By, joined as always by Mr. Adam Lovar,
Hello, hello.
my literal brother from another mother, Justin Pickavants,
Howdy do.
and Josh. Still have not thought of a good nickname for him yet, Huffman.
Hello.
How is everyone doing this wonderful holiday season?
Little,
Peachy
little
keen.
sick, but
Oh, that's not good.
it is what it is. But it is the season. Like
To
I
get
gotta
sick.
hang out with
Oh
family.
yeah.
People are gross. I don't know if you know this, but
Just spread those immunity, the herd,
Yeah, herd
immunization going
immunity.
on.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. We get by those little cousins with kids and shit, right?
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
I need like a human bubble suit. Do you remember the movie Bubble Boy back in the day? I
Yeah,
Yeah.
need one of those.
there you go. That's a good movie.
Is
So
it?
I'll show up.
I
Is
like
it?
It's not. It's not a good movie.
but it
It's
is.
funny, but it's not a good movie.
For the time, it was passable.
Yeah, right.
You know what is a good movie? Biodome.
Fuck
Better
yeah, it
movie
is.
about bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah,
with
better bubble. Polly Shore and
Pauly
What
Shore. That's his
what
name.
happened to Polly Shore? God damn. Holy
drugs.
shit. Yeah, probably. I'm with you. I see what you're saying. Uh,
I
so
don't know, but LA people, I just assume.
right, right. So we have not recorded in a hot minute. Normally we would do our whole "What have we been playing now?" But instead, this is our last episode of Nerdentity Crisis that we're recording for the year. Because next week we have Nerds in Space again, and then Christmas happens to fall on a Monday, so we're obviously not going to record then. So yes,
I did want to say too, if we'll go over this next episode as well, but for Nerds in Space, since the ending got fudged, we will give a recap
yeah,
of what you missed. Sorry about that.
yeah, shit happens. It happens to us all the time, so people are just used to it by now. To be honest with you, so
Technology is a
right.
thing.
But yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. I kind
Mhm.
of was getting I was getting a little bored with it a little bit, and I think it's because I didn't like my character because I didn't know how to play when I first made the character. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because the
Sorry, I
first
thought you
time,
meant your new character. I was like, dude, your new
no,
character's
I love my
amazing.
new character. That's what I was gonna say.
I
So
love your new character.
Mufasa, my old character, like when I made him, I didn't know what I was doing. I've never done this before. And then now that I'm in the groove or whatever, I made a new character and I'm really liking it. So I'm
It's
glad.
hard
Oh
to make
yeah.
an antisocial character in a social
Yes.
game.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
what I remember Justin saying that like one of the first times he made a character, the ranger, but
Yep. That was my very first D&D character, and I think that was with Huff. And I
Yep.
quickly realized he let me kind of change the character because I was like, and I think you even warned me, Huff, and that's why you let
Yeah.
me change it. But
Yeah.
it
I'm
just,
like, I
it's,
want people to play what they want to play, but there are just some situations that are like harder.
Right.
So like
yeah.
people who
especially when you're
have
new to tabletop RPGs like that, yeah.
yeah. And so if they like start uh with communication issues and then they slowly like work in that they get more comfortable and then it kind of grows on them, like okay. But if like that's who they're going to be forever, uh you're gonna have to just kind of take a back seat to all of the role
Right.
playing
Right.
while you are like edgy in the background.
Right.
I
Uh,
think there would be a way if you were good or had a
And you
lot
had a
of
good group
experience and a
too,
good
yeah.
group to
Yeah.
play that type of character. But yeah, I would not recommend it unless you do have experience.
For sure. Yeah.
Shy is just one thing, but antisocial is
right.
just rough.
I'm really excited to keep going now. Yeah. He's kind of a mix between Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy and Straw Hat Luffy. So he's kind of a mix of both. And I'm having a damn good time playing him. So, yeah. So look for that next week. And then, like I said, we will take Christmas off. And then we'll be back the week after that. So, actually, maybe that's New Year's Day. I just realized I mean, New Year's Eve probably won't be a big deal. Maybe everybody will be all right New Year's Day. We'll see. We'll talk it out. We'll figure it out.
I'll probably be in bed at 9:30
Right?
or 10.
That's how I was just like, I'll be
On New Year's Day, yeah, or on New Year's Eve.
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
making it to midnight. There's no way. There's no chance.
I
We're
just
getting
don't
old,
really see a
gentlemen.
reason anymore.
Yeah, we're getting old. So, all right, let's get going. We're gonna skip. What have we been playing? And we're just gonna jump right in to our game of the year. We rolled some d20s to see who would go first. And I believe the order is going to go Adam will kick us off, followed by Josh, followed by myself, followed by Justin. So before we get into, we're gonna do our top 5. But before we get into that, we need to get some honorable mentions out of the way because I know I have some games that barely missed the cut. So we'll do that first. Adam, you want to kick us off? Just breeze through it quickly. What do you got for honorable mentions?
Battle Bit, Lies of P, and I guess Starfield ish.
Yes, I like it.
Only because I don't think it's a good game now, but I think it has a lot of potential down the road because Bethesda makes really good foundational like sandbox
Right.
games, and modders will take it over and make like an actually good game.
Right.
So
For sure.
I mean the story's shit. It's so like I'm just not interested in it. So
So the
but the
honorable
game is
mention,
awesome
Yeah.
itself is awesome. So
the honorable mention is to modders, not to
Yeah.
Starfield,
Yeah.
but to people who mod Bethesda games.
Which they make some incredible mods. I was just telling these guys I'm doing a big mod pack for Skyrim right now, actually. So I'm
Nice.
excited to try it out. But okay, those are my honorable mentions.
Very cool. Josh, what do you got?
Spookware, which is like a newer non-Wario themed version of WarioWare. So like lots of little mini games that you have to complete in succession to like continue. I am unbelievably bad at it, but it is very fun. Last I played it, not all of the chapters were fully released yet. So it goes in an honorable mention category because it hasn't like fully come out.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of content for it, even
Cool.
without. And then Death Bulge Battle of the Bands. I haven't played a ton of
I
it,
remember you talking
so
about that.
but I do really enjoy what I've played thus far. So it ends up on the list. And the only other video game that I played that's not on my top 5 list, and not those two games, is Starfield, which is not in my honorable mention. I just had to mention that I only played 8 games, and Starfield still doesn't get an honorable mention.
Hell yeah, brother.
I want to question that and ask a game, but I don't want to ruin anything. So.
Yeah, I do too. I'll save that for later. I got one. I
It
want to
may
ask you
end
about.
up on the list.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if y'all had the same trouble that I did, which is like if you played something in February, I don't remember what I played last week,
Right,
let
right.
alone February.
It's
So
fun
then you're
going
like,
back in the Steam and you're like, what was I playing earlier this year? Oh, that was this year? What the hell?
and then it's like, okay, well, did I start it last year though? Because there was Inscription. I played a lot
Yeah,
of this
hell
year,
yeah.
but I started it last year.
Right.
So like, it didn't make the list because it didn't feel right.
I had a
but-
fair amount of those.
Yeah.
Real quick, did anyone test to make sure audio is coming through?
I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
If I can't
Okay.
test it, or we'll get a double stream through the
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
recorder.
fair.
The only thing better than our voices is double our voices.
Double. Yes.
And then double that. And then double that. And then
One thing I should have mentioned before we started, Josh kind of brought it up. These are not necessarily games that released in 2023, but these are games that we played for the first time in 2023. Like I have a couple games that are pretty old, but I played them for the first time this year. So, Justin, you're up. What do you got for honorable mention?
Aren't I last?
Oh no, it's me. Yeah, sorry, you're right. Sorry.
You do the
Okay.
whole roll off and then don't
Well,
don't even
I'm
follow
used
it.
to letting you guys talk first. The normal episodes, usually I let you guys go and I go last. So, all right. So honorable mentions, I have 11. I think it was a really good year for games. Very good year for games. So these are in absolutely no particular order. Marvel's Midnight Suns. I enjoyed it. It was kind of cool, like switching out characters and using their powers and stuff. The combat was fun. The other shit was really boring. That's why it's not on my list. Danganronpa, I played for the first time ever this year. Very much enjoyed it.
So good.
Murder mystery. It did get a little frustrating at parts where you're like, I know what happened, but you still have to go through the whole rigmarole. That's kind of my only complaint with it, but I liked it. Vampire Survivors, I played for the first time. That's a super fun game. Like, not a lot to it, but it's just fun for like 15-minute increments. God damn it, dog. Sadie, shut the fuck up.
Poor Sadie.
Are you done, Sadie?
Sadie wanted to let you know her honorable mentions.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the people walking outside. That's her honorable
Great
mention.
video game.
Dead Space remake. Obviously, it's a remake. That's why it's not in my top 5. Still my favorite survival horror game of all time. Fucking love it. Chained Echoes I talked about a lot in the past, which is if Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy VI had a baby, that would be this game. Super fun. Really liked it. Resident Evil 4 remake. So it was my first time playing Resident Evil 4. I did not play the OG because I did not have a GameCube. And then by the time it came to newer consoles, tank controls were a thing of the past, and I just wasn't going to do it. But it's by far the best Resident Evil game, like by a pretty long shot. So, Dead Island 2. If you liked Dead Island, you're gonna like Dead Island 2. It's the same thing, but it's still it's fun to play. I liked it.
I want to do that one eventually when it goes on sale.
Yeah, for definitely wait for sale. Like I said, if you've played Dead Island, you've played Dead Island 2. So it's just more Dead Island. But I
Sounds
enjoyed it.
amazing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Diablo 4. So obviously have not beat it. Played it quite a bit with Leif, a little bit with Justin. Um, Super fun. It's more Diablo, and I think it's probably the best Diablo game. I don't know. Diablo 2 still has a special place in my heart, but really like Diablo 4. Starfield is on my list. So I beat it. Obviously, I put like 70 some hours. I don't remember what it was. I think it's a good game. It's not a great game. It's definitely not what it was hyped up to be. But I still had a good time doing it. Final Fantasy 16. I really enjoyed. I think it's the 4th best Final Fantasy game that they've made. So it's pretty high up there, but didn't quite crack the top 5 because a lot of other good shit came out. And if there's one game on my list, my last honorable mention, if there's one game that shows you how good of a year of a game it was, Spider-Man 2 did not make my top 5.
Wow.
I really fucking enjoyed it. Traversal was outstanding. Combat was a lot of fun. The story just was not as good as the first game, but it's really hard to beat a Sinister Six storyline, I think. So, but yeah, super enjoyed it. It just barely. That's probably like my number 6. Just barely missed the cut. So, Justin.
I'm just gonna go ahead and get my game of the year out of the way.
No, you're
the
not.
day before.
Oh God, fuck you. Dude, Donkey put out a video on it. You should check
Oh,
it
I need to
out.
watch that.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have
I'll
to
watch
check
that
it out.
tonight for sure.
It's awful, dude.
The day
It's so bad.
before days it only lasted.
Yeah.
The 4 days it only lasted or something.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
gotta be a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, dude, it's real bad. Yeah, but check it out. But anyways, just an honorable mention.
Yeah, the day before that company was still in business.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't there another one like Days Gone? Wasn't that a game that came out?
That was
Did-
bad.
It was like, which was actually a good like zombie game, right?
I
Days
thought it
Gone?
was
Or-
all right. It wasn't like phenomenal, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, is that the
Yeah.
motorcycle
There's a
one?
joke in there
Yeah,
though
the
somewhere. The
motorcycle one.
days before gone, or just like
That's-
I don't know.
that's-
There's something in there. The days before. I don't know.
That's the one where the dev complained that like
Yes.
the fans were the problem. It
Mhm.
wasn't that the fact that the game came out
Yeah.
incredibly broken.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you guys didn't buy it at full price. You waited for a sale. It's your fault. We don't get a sequel. Like,
Yep.
fuck you, dude.
yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
it's 9 out of 10 on Steam with almost 50,000 reviews, and 94% of Google users liked Days Gone. So
I mean,
They
I
fixed
thought it was
they fixed a
something.
lot of the
I was gonna
issues.
say the people I've talked to that's played in the past year or so, it's actually pretty good.
My biggest complaint about the game was that they didn't call them zombies; they called them freakers, and I just cringe every time they said freakers. I was like, just fucking call them zombies, dude. They're zombies. Like, I know you're trying to be different, but whatever. Justin, what's your honorable mention?
Diablo 4 was also on mine.
I thought that was gonna crack your top 5. Crazy.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It was really fun. Um, and then I don't know, there were just things that really bugged me. And then when season 1 came out, I just didn't really have any interest. And then I found out that they're going to be releasing, uh, like they're almost doing a Destiny Plus model where
Uh,
they're going to be releasing new content with expansions and characters that you have to pay for
yeah.
every like 6 months or every other. I don't know. It was a very short time frame, so it's very clear that they're using this as a money grab
Right.
situation.
For sure.
So that kind of turned me off right after that. Another one I had on the list was Donkey Kong Country Tropical
Nice.
Freeze.
Hell yeah.
Riz and I had that, and we had a ton of fun. A lot of frustrations together, but they're fun when we're playing games like that together. And next one I had on there was Shatterline, which is that free-to-play shooter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I still think that's a very good like shooting hitboxes and just overall maneuverability, feel and comfort just felt very right. Sometimes they miss that on games. New World expansion. I didn't feel good putting that on, but the expansion added a new weapon type, a mount, and a new zone, and expanded the level cap to 65. And they got rid of expertise, which I'm not going to bore everyone, but it's so much better to level now than if you ever played Black Desert and you think about how you had to level up, that's sort of what expertise was.
Hmm.
Or Lost Ark, they had kind of the same gamble. This one isn't as extreme. Long story short, so much better now. Um, and then my last honorable mention is Nightingale, and that's only because it's like alpha beta, but the early access, February 22nd. I hope to
There
see
you
you all there,
go. Hell yeah.
or you'll all be square. I
I
don't
guess I
even know
won't
if
be
I'll be
square.
there. That's
You
like,
won't. Oh, moving.
yeah, it's like 6 days after we close.
Yeah. Jesus.
So,
Yeah,
So
you
I,
might
I
not be there.
you just may not have to close. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
may have.
Priorities.
Yeah, gotta cancel this. I've been waiting for this game for
We're
2 years.
maxing out.
Way longer than this house, so
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's 6 days to move and get my computer desk set up. So,
Yeah, you got time. You'll be all right.
get that
yeah.
out done on day one.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we're
There you
paying
go.
for movers too. So,
That's such a
Day
good
one.
idea.
I have never been more excited to hear anything in my life.
Yeah, that is.
Having
Uh,
helped move you the last, I don't know, 4 times.
Kim will be so disappointed with the pillows. You should at least bring a couple pillows for him.
yeah, Glue and I talked about this the other week, and we calculated the places that I moved, and because I've moved more than once in 1 year, a couple times, I moved since moving to Iowa 13 years ago. I have moved 13 times.
Crazy.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm very
insane.
excited to have a house and
Yeah.
not move
Right. This will
ever
be it.
again.
Yeah,
Nursing
there you
home will
go.
be next,
There you go. I like
or my
it.
grave slot.
One of the two. Yeah. All right, it got dark. Let's move on. So now
Already done.
we're gonna get into our top fives. So we'll go around. Everybody will do the number 5 game. Then we'll all do 4, and we'll count all the way down to 1. Adam, you are up first. What is your 5th game?
Number 5 on my list, Remnant 2.
Ooh, I've not played it yet.
So if any of y'all ever played Remnant from the
Fuck
Ashes, which
yeah.
was the first one, that's an amazing game. This is that game just added on to it. They didn't change the formula. It is exactly the same as Remnant 1, and it's awesome.
Is
They
that
added
the
a couple
three-player
classes.
co-op Dark Souls
Yeah, it's
ish?
super
Yeah,
challenging.
Dark
Yeah.
Souls procedurally generated levels. You can play through it multiple times, and you might encounter different bosses, and you have like different options for doing things, and like finding all the trinkets and all the shit. Is just so fun. It's a great game.
Nice.
So yes, Remnant 2 was my number 5 pick.
Yeah, I played the first one with Leif and Jeremy quite a bit. I just remember it being very difficult and
Mhm.
but a lot of fun. A
We
lot of
always played
fun.
the buddy that I played with it. I did it so duo run is what pretty much I played this game with, and the same guy that played it with. We played the second one, and we played on the hardest difficulty, and we just smash our heads against the wall until we get
Yeah.
through it. And it's so rewarding when you do. And like once you,
Fuck
it's
yeah.
like very much like Dark Souls. You start to figure out the patterns of like the bosses. You're like, oh, we gonna try this. Like you try and do this, and like changing your loadouts, and like it's a great game.
Fuck,
Nice.
fuck yeah. I can't wait to play it. I'm excited. It's on Game Pass, so
Oh,
it's been
nice.
on my list for a while. So
I didn't
uh,
realize that. I'll have to tell some of the other people that have Game Pass to get it.
hell yeah. So all right, cool. Very good pick.
Yeah,
Uh
get it.
get it. Josh, what's your number 5 game?
My number 5 is Party Animals.
That's a fun game.
It's, I mean, it's not anything, super intelligent or, super, I don't know, like challenging. It's kind of like Fall Guys. It's just incredibly fun, especially when you have a group of people like in VC, you know, essentially throwing each other off of cliffs as like stupid rag doll physics
Yeah.
animals. So for anyone who hasn't played it, it's like Fall Guys or Humans Fall Flat. Is that
Yeah.
the
Humans Fall Flat.
Yep.
very similar? So you have different like objectives, like you are all on a platform that's slowly falling apart, and you have to like beat each other with random weapons to like throw them off, or sometimes it's early on there was like a black hole level where a black hole would randomly open, and but there was like a chain that you could hold on to, but only certain, like so many people could hold on to the chain, so you had to like wham people or throw them off so that you could hold on to the chain when the black hole started. It's very dumb, very fun. uh, I recommend it. They also are doing like a Fall Guys type thing where you can get different costumes and whatever of stuff. Not anything I'm particularly interested in, but I'm playing a pig with a mohawk, and I mean that's I don't need any more costumes. That's
Do you
all I
have a
wanted to
beard?
do.
Does it have a beard?
Sadly, no. He has like a, if I remember, like a nose ring and like
Oh,
a
nice. Okay.
t-shirt with a like a skull on it, like very
Hell yeah.
Very
punk
badass.
pig. Yeah. So,
Hell yeah.
but yeah, it's fun. Play with a group of people I met online, and they're it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
hell
think
yeah.
I got a Discord gift of like a skin pack for that game, but I don't own the
Nice.
game.
It's fun, man. It's fun just to fuck around in, and you laugh a lot. It's hilarious. So yeah, super fun game.
Sometimes you forget who's on your team, and then you
Yeah.
like push
Yeah.
your own party off of the ledge, and sometimes you do it on purpose. Also, a random note. I know I've talked about this game for a while now, but when you die, then you can throw shit at people from like the screen. So like you can throw bombs and like fish. So if there's like a boat and someone is like trying to hold on for their dear life, you can just beam them with a fish like across the map as the dead player, and it's like I don't know, it makes being eliminated early more
Yeah.
fun because you
Hell yeah.
can kind of wreck other people's days, which
Yeah.
I find funny.
Yeah.
So
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, I still have anticipation to get that one. I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely like a good sale, or like
Might be
especially
on
if
sale
you have a
right now.
group.
Might be.
I don't have Steam up.
Yeah.
I'll look later.
All right, good pick. Okay, so my number 5 game. So y'all know I have a rule where if I have not beaten a game, I don't put it in my top 5. And this year, I don't give a fuck. Baldur's Gate 3. So, had I finished this game, it'd probably be number 2, maybe even number 1. It is outstanding. It is so fucking good. I played about 3 hours, and I went with a ranger, and I ended up not liking it, and this is before I knew you could reclass later on, so I restarted it, the whole game, and I went with a monk, and I'm enjoying that a whole shit ton. I'm taking my sweet time with this game, so there's a part in, like, the first act or the prologue or whatever, where essentially you have to get to this new place, and you have 2 options on how to get there. Um, and so I did the first option and I went through and I did it. And I was like, well, I wanted to see what happened in the second option. So I just went back. I ran all the way or fast traveled all the way back and I took that second route too, just to get to the same place. But dude, it's really good. It is really good. The combat with dice rolls is a lot of fun, saving throws and all that shit, just like you're playing D&D. Same with back when a long time ago when we had our own little D&D game going online. Uh, like I was played a monk in that too, and like same shit, like same moves, same attacks or whatever. Like it's just a ton of fun. The characters are super cool and interesting. Um, I did discover like you got to be a little bit careful when you're talking to your companions because everybody just wants to fuck. That's all they want to do.
So you want to be
You got-
careful to make sure
yeah,
to do that, is what I'm
right.
hearing.
But you got to be like, even if you don't think you're choosing like the let's fuck option, it kind of leads to there.
Yeah,
So yeah, you gotta be a little bit careful. Um, but yeah, dude, it's outrageous at parts. Like
I think
at
they
one
fixed
point,
that a little
did
bit.
they?
I think so.
They might have.
I
That's the
think I
point of
read that
playing.
that was part of a bug. Like
That
that
could
was
be.
unintended.
But yeah,
Speed
dude,
running,
like
like the have sex like speed runs, 5 minutes.
right,
What are they putting in the water here?
right. But dude, there's so much like random hilarious stuff too. Like at one point, you're in this like rundown town and there's a bunch of goblins and you wipe them out, and then you come to like this shed or like this barn and you hear some noises from the inside, and I'm like, well, what the fuck's in there? So I open up the door and there's just a troll fucking a bugbear, and you walk in on him having sex, and then you have to fight him. Like, dude, it's outrageous. It's
You don't have
hilarious.
to
It's
fight him.
fun. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, but I killed them both. So, I kind of that's kind of what my playthrough is like. At one point, you get to like a huge goblin encampment, and oh god, Baldur's Gate
Dude, it's
3.
a thing. Like I was joking, but holy shit, it's a thing.
Wow, that's fast too.
That's
Holy
real fast.
shit, that's
Yeah,
nuts.
the to provide some context, the sex percent pre-patch, pre-patch 4, the RTA world record, 2 minutes 21 seconds.
For sex percent. Yep.
Yeah,
That's insane.
After the patch for 6 minutes.
Yeah,
What game are we playing?
significantly faster.
right.
I can't believe there's a leaderboard for that.
I'm not at all.
I can.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. That's why, like, I joked and I was like, I bet that's the thing.
Yep. But yeah, if you're into D&D, if you're into fantasy, it brings me back to like R.A. Salvatore books. Like all of it's just fucking awesome. It's just so
It's
much
just
fun to
fucking.
play. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking too. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to play. Super challenging too. Like it is not easy. It's difficult. So be prepared to die often. A
Yeah,
lot
I've
of
had to do
times,
the same fight like 10 times trying it different ways to
oh
figure
yeah,
out what the fuck I'm doing wrong.
for sure. Yeah, it's challenging. So yeah, that is my number 5 game. Justin, what do you got?
My number 5 game is Mario Wonder.
Hell yeah.
Another Switch one, but my only complaint is it's not as long as the last Mario. Granted, the last Mario I think came out on like the Wii U or something, or the Wii, and then they remastered it. something. I don't know. So they had more time with that one, but it's an awesome game. The power-ups are a really fun change. All the extra characters, just kind of fun to be able to do different things. I really liked that they got rid of the time. Not having a time limit is, at least for me, very much appreciated. You can do, I think, a time mode, but not
Right.
having that as the default is very nice.
Hell yeah.
Did
Hell
the
yeah.
did the last Mario game have a timer on it?
Yes.
Hmm.
I want to say every Mario game I've
I
ever
feel like
played
I
has
was
a
gonna say I
level
feel like
Yeah,
that's
timer.
always
they
been a
do.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not like Sunshine or
Sure, the like
64.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
the
a
open
long time
world
since
ones like
I've played
I
a
guess more
2D.
the side
right.
scroll.
For sure.
Well, I
Um,
have the actual card, so Huff, if you ever want to borrow it.
there you go.
Cool.
There you go. All right. Cool. Good choice. I have not booted up my Switch in forever. I need to do that. It's been a long time since I played a Switch game. So, because there's been too much other shit to play this year. That's just how
Just
it is.
just wait for the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'm sure I'll be getting that. So, all right. On to number 4. Adam, what do you got?
My number 4, Hogwarts Legacy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Not a
Hell
Harry
yeah.
Potter fan at all. Like I watched the first movie a little bit and the last movie a little bit, never read the books, but that was a damn good RPG. Like a damn good open world RPG. They
Really
did a
quick,
really good job. What's up?
really fast. Josh, can I skip you quick?
Yeah, yep.
My number 4 game is Hogwarts Legacy, so I figure
Okay.
we can just talk about it together. But yeah, go ahead, Adam.
I mean, it was again for someone that doesn't really know anything about that world. Like, I definitely found myself as I was playing it, like getting enthralled a little bit, and like asking Kat questions because she's a huge Hogwarts, Harry Potter fan and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was good. Combat's really good. I loved the like combination of the combat, and it really ramps up. It doesn't like. I was surprised at how difficult it got towards the end, actually, and some of the puzzles and stuff were actually pretty challenging towards the end. And I would say there were definitely parts where it kind of got that like Ubisoft sort of
For
collectathon
sure.
feel, and there were definitely parts where I was just like I wanted to keep doing it, but I was just like at the same time like I just want to keep pushing like through it because I'll get sidetracked and spend like half a day doing other shit that I don't need to.
Yeah.
So other than that, it was a good RPG.
Yeah, I'll say I agree with every single thing Adam just said. The combat was what surprised me the most, like
Hmm.
surprisingly in depth
Yeah,
and
it
like
was.
intuitive and fun. It was a really good time. But as a diehard Harry Potter fan, I fucking loved this game. I agree with Adam though, like so when you're in Hogwarts, the attention to detail is unreal. It's unreal. And that's definitely the best part of the game. When you leave Hogwarts, there's definitely a Ubisoft feel. There's
Yeah.
definitely like a
Like, whoa,
okay,
this is big.
yeah,
And there's a
and
lot
just
of
like
shit you're trying to put around that
yes,
doesn't
right,
matter.
and it just gets a little bit bland. And but Hogwarts Castle itself is fucking nuts, dude. It's fucking crazy. Um, like even I think we talked about this, but there are parts of the game that they literally took uh the description from the book and just recreated it like word for word. And that's wild to me. Like it's crazy just the attention to detail in that game. I thought the story was a little meh. Like it was all right. It wasn't like anything to write home about, which is why it's not higher on my list, but I very much enjoyed my time with it. Very, very much.
It was
Go.
almost one of those games where I could see myself someday trying out like the different houses and
Yes.
stuff even too.
Yeah.
Like because apparently they have very different
Yeah.
changing events and stuff like that, which could be interesting, but I doubt it. But
For sure.
but it's still like I
I
thought that was really cool
right.
how you have that option and it's not just like a, you know, reskin or you're doing the
Right.
same stuff, but it is from what I've talked to other people at different houses. It is. I'm like, oh, that is drastically
For
different than
sure.
like what happened to me. I did this, and they're like, oh wow, that's totally different than what happened. Like, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy at work who played it and he went Ravenclaw
That's
and
what I
I
did.
was I was Hufflepuff. And I was like,
Do you
"Man,
pick or is
was
it randomized?
uh yes and no,
You
both."
answer some questions and
Yes, but
stuff that like
if you've
helps.
read the books or seen the movies, you know where you're going, like when you're answering questions, you know what I mean? So, um, but like I was talking to him about it, I was like, "Oh man, wasn't it crazy when you end up in Azkaban?" And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, when you go to Azkaban." He's like, "I never went to Azkaban." So yeah, like there's fairly big differences between the
Mhm.
stories depending on what
Like, you
house you're
never see
in.
parts of the game
Right.
depending on the house, and I was like, "That's crazy."
Yeah, it's nuts. So,
But
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy, solid choice. I fucking love that game. All right, Josh, back to you.
Yuppie Psycho, my second favorite RPG of the year.
Oh,
I'm so
Um,
tempted to buy it. I've seen it go on sale a couple times, and I
I mean,
really wanna get it.
so I looked it up and it's like $17 right now, which worth it. But it's like a comedy horror sort of game. You essentially are like a new businessman, and you've been brought to Sintra Corp to work there. But that place is fucked. Um, so the clinical definition for it. Just a bunch of weird shit, lots of horror. Um, but it's like horror comedy, which is like two of my favorite things. So, just I mean, it's just overall a really good RPG, and it's for like a random game that I saw on sale and was like, I'll give that a try. It's really good. It's really good. So definitely one. I think it's worth the 17, but it's definitely worth it if you catch it on sale.
Which goes on
hell yeah.
sale pretty frequently, actually.
I think it's a few years old, and I saw that they had announced like their they've announced a new game, although I don't think there's a date on it yet. So I imagine there will also be sales of this game when the new game
Right,
is
right.
gonna launch. So
The lowest it's been was 666. They did it 60% off sale, and it was 666. That's actually pretty fitting.
nice. That's funny.
Very nice. All right, cool. Solid choice. Justin, what's your number 4?
Sons of the Forest.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot
Very
about that
nice.
game.
We didn't beat it, but I mean, I really liked the first one. I would like to finish it at some point. The downside and plus about these games is like they've added a ton of shit since the three of us had played it. So now whenever we go back, they'll have a lot of the things fixed, and like I think I read that enemies now respawn in caves
Mm.
more and things. So it's not just a dead world after you kill everything. But again, if you like the first one, this one's the same thing but better. More things to craft, better house building. Just overall, I think a better game. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I
Skipping
figured.
ahead, but this was my third game. So
Oh,
Nice.
we'll
um,
just jump in then. Go for it.
Do it.
yeah, yeah. It had its issues like right on release because of course it's a uh is it still considered like early access
I think it
at
was
this
when it
point?
I think it
launched. I don't know
was.
if it still is, but I do think it
Yeah,
was.
but they've added a lot, and a lot of the bugs that we had, like where we had different seasons going on and stuff like
That
that.
was a good
All
one.
yeah, it was just like winter, I think, only for Justin or something. I don't remember who it was, but
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
some
because
people walking on ice, but then like on other people's screen, it was like water, and you're like walking on water.
yeah, we're like swimming next to them, so all of that from the last time we played it had been patched. I think the only downside that I really had to the game was again this the things not spawning was kind of meh, and then also I have no idea what we've done because there's not really like a good way to track that exactly. And since we've been playing pretty sporadically, like 6-month gaps,
It's like,
I
if you go to this cave, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
The
a
last
check
time we
mark or cleared or something. Yeah.
last time we played it, I think we spent an hour and a half and explored nothing new because we were trying to find something that was new.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd be like really nice if like the caves had like some sort of like spray painted symbol of like you cleared it. You know?
Or on your GPS, you can mark it or something, because that's how you
Yeah,
would see it.
exactly.
I mean, that was kind of one thing. You didn't have as much exploration since a lot of the stuff was kind of given to you. Granted, the map was massive, and I can appreciate them telling you where all the things are because it was so big. But that was kind of the one difference between the original forest, is like you had to find all those caves, and like when you stumbled upon them, you're like, holy shit, there's a fucking cave here, and you'd have to mark it and all this stuff. Like this one, they kind of just tell you where everything's at, which
At
again,
least
the one-
for
not a bad thing because the map is huge. So
at least for like story important stuff. There is like random caves that like don't have mainline gear in it, but you don't ever need to go to those to like
Mhm.
progress. That's just like, oh, kind of cool, like random lore tidbits, but all
There
of
are
like the
items
actual
that like you have to use the shovel to dig up, and those aren't marked on the map. So there are hidden
some of them have
things.
beacons though. So you will beep as when you get near them, which
Yeah,
helps.
they don't show up on the map though.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
it's a good game. I will say I would absolutely never play that game without friends.
Right.
Just not my
One-
cup of tea, but I really enjoyed it playing with y'all.
We know how you feel about punching trees. We get it.
I mean, they deserve it, but yeah, not super into it.
just tug them.
Shit. Josh is like, the problem with global warming, there's not enough of it. Cut those trees down.
You like a cold environment. You don't want it to warm up.
Yeah,
more
yeah.
trees.
Yeah, I'm hoping for like Ice Age number like 3
Yeah.
or 4 or whatever we're on. Total apocalypse. I'm cool with that. I'm cool
I'm not
with
ready. I'm not ready.
Shit. No,
Yeah.
you're not ready.
Need to buy a nice down jacket first before the Ice Age.
There you go.
I gotta prepare a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to have our house because this apartment bleeds heat.
No,
Mm, mm.
you're almost
Yeah.
there. It won't hit before then. You're fine. All right, let's move on. Number 3, Adam.
I had to knock on some wood.
Wait.
What?
Sorry, did
I
all of
did
us
my
go?
number 2.
Okay.
You
Okay.
did 2?
Yeah, that was
did
my
his
number
5
2.
and 4.
Or yeah,
Yeah, we.
my 4.
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah.
only done 2.
And Josh did his 3. So
Yeah,
what
he jumped
3.
ahead.
Yeah. So it's my 3.
But he hasn't
I've
done
got
his
us all
4 yet.
confused.
Oh, wait, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did Yuppie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
good.
okay.
We're-
we're
Yep,
good.
on
okay.
track. We're
Okay.
on track.
We're
I was
we're
right.
good.
Adam, number 3.
So I feel like this game probably could have gone up higher on my list, and it probably should have been number 2, but it's kind of newer, so I haven't put as much time into it. But Lethal Company, has anyone? I know Justin's played it.
Uh-uh.
Are you guys even familiar with it yet?
I don't
No.
think so.
Oh man, it is a great game. It is. It's so weird and hard to explain, but like you go on, you have 3 days to meet a quota, and you're just trying to get scrap out of like procedurally generated buildings. And there's weird monsters, and there's really no way of killing them. It's kind of like a weird horror game at points, but it's just way more funny. I'm not doing it really good justice, but my god, this game is amazing.
Yeah, when I
I've been
first
seeing
got
the
it,
clips.
for the first hour, and granted, Jack gifted it to me, so that's the only reason I even played it. But for the first
I was
hour,
hesitant
I
to
was
play this game as well, I will say. Very
Um,
hesitant, because it looks like shit.
but then after I kind of figured out what I was doing,
I've seen
it was
clips. Yes.
it was
okay.
funny. I just saw one today of a dude had the ladder that you can buy.
Oh, the
and
extension
s-
ladder, okay.
Yeah, and then set it down, and it went up, and then like flipped forward, and it made a bonk noise as it hit someone running in front in the head, and it killed him.
Yeah.
And that was completely unintentional, but it actually made a bonk noise, and that was hilarious.
the clip. The
It
clip
has
actually.
great humor here and there. And like it doesn't take itself too seriously, obviously, but at the same time, like it tries to, like there's something about it, like in those dark hallways, and you're not sure if you're what you're walking into. It gets a little creepy, like for
Dad was
the kind of
watching
low
me
poly
play.
graphics and stuff, but it's something special.
My first time playing, Dad was watching me, and we were all in Discord, but everyone deafens themselves, so you can only talk. Because in game, you only hear people that are close, or you can
This
have
proximity chat.
walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so one of the kickers is if you die and you're not by anyone,
They don't know.
you won't know. Um, so that's really funny. But the first time I died, I literally screamed out loud, and Dad was watching the stream, and he heard me scream like a little bitch. Adam told me that there's a monster on the other side of the door. Don't open it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I walk up to the door and look through like the window. He said, don't open it. So I figured I'm safe. It comes barreling forward and just pushes open the
Didn't
door and
realize it could
like
open the door.
just smashes me to death. And I was like, okay.
I heard the door open and you start screaming, and I was like, I'm out the door. Like I immediately left, and I was like, he's dead. Guarantee it, he's dead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
seeing
I've
like a ton of clips of this
dude,
game
and
It's
they're
online.
it
all
It looks
is
quite
hilarious.
so
fun.
fun. It's a very easy game to get into. It's one of those games that like the more you play it, the deeper the game gets,
Right.
kind of thing. You start realizing there's a lot more going on under the hood the more you play it.
Hell
And
yeah.
I would say definitely go into it blind. Like, don't look up wikis and stuff. Half the fun, I think, is kind of trying to figure some of the stuff out. But you eventually get to the point where you're just like, okay, I'm frustrated. How the fuck do you like deal with certain things? And then you're like, oh, I just can't deal with that. Okay, sweet. I've accepted that. I will just run. Because there isn't really like there isn't a lot of great ways to like kill things. It's like you can maybe stun them or just get the fuck out of there,
Right,
sort of
right.
thing. Which I
Hell
kind of
yeah.
like that. You're not walking in with guns and you're killing things. It's like,
Right.
no, you need to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
the different monster types, they did a good job with.
There's a
The
good
game
variety of
is,
them.
it's dark, and like you can get a flashlight, so but all of these things have batteries, and you can only have one item out at a time. So like you can have a walkie-talkie and turn it on and then put it on your belt so you can hear other people talk, but you won't be able to pull it out and talk to your friends if you're carrying something else.
Hmm.
And so if you see something and you can't get your walkie out and you run, you can't warn anyone. It's to Adam's point of not looking things up. I would almost play for your first time or two without a group because
Okay.
I
like
haven't played the
Jack.
game solo because I feel like it would be a tough game solo. I feel like it
Yeah,
is
but like
intended for a
Jack,
party. But yeah, if you have someone coming in that's telling you how to do everything, yeah.
Jack ran to everything, didn't really just told me what to do all the time and what to be afraid of and this and that, and so that was kind of
Right.
yeah. Cam said get your friends to let you lead. That would be a
Yeah.
good way of doing it.
There you go.
Oh,
Hell
nice.
yeah.
What up, Cam?
Cool. All right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen a ton
super
of clips. Definitely. It sounds like it's a ton of fun. So
yeah, it's four players. Apparently, there's some mods out there to get like more or larger lobby sizes and stuff. But I feel like that would also take away a little bit of it because half the fun is the higher you go, the higher your quota is in the 3 days. Like we've gotten, I think our highest one so far was like 1,300 something, and we did not make it. And it's pretty fun, but I don't want to spoil anything. It's a very very cool game.
hell yeah. Very
And
cool.
it's like $10 and it's a one developer guy. It's one guy that made it
It's
too.
only
So
$10, guys.
yeah, it's only $10.
Do it. Do it.
Heard that
Alright.
before.
But yeah,
Uh
that's my number 3.
Cool. So Josh did his number 3, so it's on to me. So my number 3 game of the year is Alan Wake 2.
Hmm.
This is exactly what I wanted in an Alan Wake sequel. Like exactly what I wanted. It is weird, it is campy, it is trippy. Um I think the game mechanic, so there's two main characters now. Saga is the new character, so you can play as Saga and Alan Wake. And at some point in the story, you can switch between the two whenever you want. So that's kind of cool. Um, but like just the new game mechanics, like I've talked about this before, but in the first Alan Wake, like you find pages to the story as you go and you're trying to figure it out or whatever, but like you don't do anything with it. You just read them as the stuff is starting to happen and come true. So in this one, it's like a game mechanic. Like you write pages to change what is happening in the game as you're playing it. Uh and that's fucking cool, man. Like the whole two character thing I was a little unsure about. I'm like, I want to play as Alan. I don't want to play as another character. I honestly liked Saga's parts better than Alan's, to be honest with you. Yeah, she was a lot of fun to play as. It's cool how the whole thing interconnects. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a set piece in this game that's one of the coolest things I've seen this year where like you play through a music video. Like there's this band called the Old Gods of Asgard, and they're jamming out to a song in a music video and you're kind of playing through it as it's happening. Like it's just fucking cool, dude. The whole thing's fucking awesome. Um and that song from the game, they played it live at the Game Awards. That was pretty sweet to watch. But they had the
Nice.
band out there and everything. And it's a good song too. But yeah, it was really good. It's exactly what I wanted. There's going to be an Alan Wake 3, and I'm very excited for that. Um so I can't believe it took this long for us to get an Alan Wake sequel, to be honest with you. Like I know the first game was kind of like a cult hit, like it wasn't massively popular, but I feel like this game has been massively popular. So I'm excited to see
They
where it
do
goes
that
next.
long thing for intentionally though,
Oh
because they
yeah,
get a
for
lot
sure.
of inspiration from like David Lynch and stuff like that, and it's like he's
Yeah.
not going to do anything just to put it in
Right.
there. Like everything is there intentionally, and that
Right.
takes a lot of time, attention to detail, and just passion project. So
Yeah,
like, don't expect it anytime soon.
so Sam Lake, who co-wrote, co-directed the game, and then he plays one of the characters, Alex Casey, in the game. Um, like I feel bad for him because you can tell he wants all of his games to be interconnected. Like there's a lot of references to Control in there. But so Alex Casey, the character he plays, is Max Payne. You can't call him Max Payne because
Hmm.
that's owned by Rockstar, but it's Max Payne. Like, so you can tell like he wanted all this shit to be connected, and that's super cool idea. Um, but yeah, so you can kind of just pretend because he has Max Payne's face because Sam like played Max Payne in the game. So, um, yeah, his name's Alex Casey, but if you just kind of play it off, but yeah, it's super good. It was exactly what I wanted. Like I honestly no complaints really. It's exactly what I was hoping for in a sequel. So, yeah, that's my number 3 game. Justin, what's your number 3?
Really random, but I didn't even realize until Huff mentioned that the Game Awards already happened.
Oh, yeah, last week.
Yeah,
Yep.
didn't even
It
notice
was
that.
it was kind of lame. I'm glad we didn't stream it or
Game and
anything.
gone.
Yeah, it was lame.
Well, it's just a bummer because we got that special screen for
Oh, right.
restreaming.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
even get
know.
to use it. Anyways, my number 3 is Stranded Alien Dawn.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think I talked about that
Yes, you have.
for several episodes in the past. But obviously, I love survival crafting type games. I thought this one was cool in the colony sim management aspect of it, but then it actually did have combat, which sometimes those games give you one or the other, but not both, or it's at least not all good. And I thought this one was all good. They have a new expansion that came out that I don't have yet, but apparently it adds robots, and so you can uh, basically create your own citizens, but they don't need all the same resources. I don't know what it costs or whatnot, but that's kind of cool because you're sort of limited on how many people you can have in your group, but also people can die and then that person is just out of the game forever.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Again, really fun game if you like those type of games, uh, but I would recommend it if you do.
Hell yeah. Very
Nice.
cool. All right. Okay, on to number 2, Adam.
My number 2, Dredge.
Did you talk
I
about?
I have this in my wish list, but I have not bought it yet.
Game that kind of surprised the hell out of me again. Just a small indie game, but there's something about that game loop of going out trying to find certain fish and doing missions and like exploring the world and getting back before it got dark and like there was something damn fun about that game. And I
Damn,
got
10 out of 10 on Steam.
dude, it's super fun and it was a sleeper game that not many people really heard about, but like that was and it was unique too in like a time where like it's hard to find kind of unique games and like that
Right.
one really kind of surprised me. I didn't expect much out of it, but it was really 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 good.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
It kind of looks like my cup of tea. I might have to
dude,
check
it's
it out
amazing. I think you would really really enjoy it.
if it
when
comes to
I
console.
when I
Had-
saw like the even pre-release, like the super early, just like announcement trailer sort of thing, I'm like, fishing kind of horror aesthetic. Like, I'm
You kind of
sold.
like
This
there's
is
some Cthulhu-ish sort of
yeah,
stuff going on
yeah,
and like
all of the things that I enjoy combined. I
yeah,
just haven't bought it yet.
it's
Oh,
really
dude,
good.
it's
It's got
on
like
console.
and it's got kind of like RPG elements to it, and you're upgrading your ship and getting like better things so you can find different fish. And like I don't know, it's got a really great loop and it's super fun.
I'm gonna check it out. I
It
didn't
was
really. It's on console already. I'm gonna have to check
yeah,
it
yeah.
out.
It's very, very, very good.
Nice. Totally
Good
flew under my radar.
soundtrack too. Like it's beautiful at points and then terrifying at points. Like it checks all the boxes.
Nice.
Don't
Hell
want to
yeah.
be out. If you sink, you lose like everything. So it's got like a little hardcore element to it as well, which I can appreciate. Like it's
Right.
yeah, got a little bit of everything.
Hell yeah. Cool. Cool.
Cam said there's a new Fortnite Lego survival game that just came out that he's
You hear a
downloading.
lot of
So
people talk about that. I've seen a
Yeah, I've
couple of
heard
people
about it.
play it. Very unique for them, but
Right, right. Something different. That
win-win
they.
for them and Lego. Holy
I was
shit.
gonna say something different that they copied from somebody else at some point, probably, because that's how they do things over at Fortnite. Um,
They both make money.
yeah, exactly.
Don't hate the play, hate the game.
Right, right. Josh, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is my favorite RPG of the year, which is Sea of Stars.
Hmm.
Fuck yeah, I still have to
Um,
play it.
it's so good. It has like a very Chrono Trigger type, like turn-based RPG aesthetic. Music is fabulous. The combat system is really interesting, so you can choose like which of your characters you want to go first, and then when you hit enemies, then it generates like little particles that you then can collect to do other types of attacks. And you can use magic, which, of course, like there's some aspects of like, normal turn based RPG, but
Right.
enemies will have like a list of symbols above them. And so some of your attacks and some of your spells will deal certain symbols to them. And if you can coordinate your attacks and do it in a correct order and cast them correctly, then you can like break the enemy's attack by chaining things properly. And so as you progress in the game, making sure to chain things properly and then get all of your characters in the correct order and is very important to like like being able to complete harder battles. So just really really good story, good gameplay, um, very fun.
Hell yeah. Very nice. Yeah, I literally have it installed on my Xbox. I just have not played it yet. I have to.
Yeah, I think it's on Game Pass, so it
Yep.
for those of you who have not played it but enjoy that type of RPG, then no real downside.
Hell yeah. Very cool. Okay, so my second game, my number 2 game of the year is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Um, I they took everything I loved about the first game and they made it better, and they took everything I didn't like about the first game and they just fixed it. Like it is the storyline is incredible. The combat is dialed up to 11 cuz like in the first game Cal is learning to be a Jedi again, like he's kind of getting back into it, you know what I mean? But when this game kicks off, like he's fully in Jedi badass mode. So the combat is a lot more fun in my opinion. They added different lightsaber styles you can dual wield now. Um, and then they added it's basically just like a giant claymore lightsaber that you get later on too. Um, but it's so good and it's challenging. It's Souls like. It is not as hard as a Souls game, but it is Souls like for sure. There are some really challenging parts of the game. Um, I just had such a good time with it. And like my biggest complaint from the first game was like you revisit planets and some of the planets suck in the first game. Like they're really hard to navigate and get around. And like I got lost all the time. They cleaned all that up. Like it's super easy to get to where you want to go now. They added mounts, so you can kind of just breeze through stuff. But I loved it, man, and the storyline was incredible. And where there's twists and turns and like shit you don't see coming, and where they left it, There's definitely going to be a third game. I think they said they wanted it to be a trilogy, so there's one more coming. They left it at a super interesting place, and I don't know where they're gonna go in the next game. Uh, but um, I was about to say that, but that could be a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it then. But I think it's well worth your time, especially if you liked the first one. This game is way better than the first game. Definitely play it. And who doesn't want to be a fucking Jedi? Let's be real. Like their powers are so cool. I want a lightsaber. I want a real lightsaber. Um,
I still need
but
to
yeah,
beat the first one. I just
yeah,
get
hell
bored
yeah.
in those kind of games, sadly.
Right, right. That's fair. Um, yeah,
I
if you
don't
have,
want to be a Jedi. Sith Lord.
yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
The Jedi, space cops. Don't care.
Right, right. Don't give a shit. Um, so yeah, that is my number two game. Justin, what's yours?
My number 2 is Age of Wonders 4.
Oh, damn. I didn't even know you
Um,
liked the Age of Wonders games.
yeah, it's Paradox game. Um, I mean, if you like the 4X strategy games,
Right.
uh, it's that on the campaign level, but then sort of like when you battle, it's like the sort of the tactic, like old. I don't want to necessarily say Final Fantasy tactics, but you have your units and they all have set amount of abilities or attack types that kind of get brought to them based on how you leveled them up in the campaign.
So is it like a
Um,
grid based like
sort
tactics?
of, yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep. So, like, that's one of the shitty things about Civilization is you do it all, and then when they fight, you see the three different dudes go back and forth till one side doesn't have any left.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you actually control the battles,
Oh.
and uh, if you play it right, you can make them uh, like if you're gonna lose, you can basically try to run and flee the battle, and depending on your speed versus theirs, you might be able to escape, and then that gives you a little more time on the campaign map to get away.
Okay.
Uh, but like all the options, diplomacy, you get random quests throughout the game that just add new unique things to do in the middle of a what could be boring campaign. And then
Right.
another thing that's really cool is there's like a legacy to where if you beat a game and one of your heroes or the hero that you created survives to the end and does well, you can basically put them in the pantheon, and then you're also upgrading your races and whatnot for each successive game. But then as you're playing a new one, if you're that same race, that god could come back, or that hero could come back basically as a god. And I mean, he's not, he's still whatever level he is when you
Yeah.
buy him, but it's just cool that you can see those same, like your main king from a previous game can show up again,
Right.
which is kind of cool.
That is
But
cool.
by far the best, I would say 4X game for sure in a either medieval or like I think it beats Civilization out of the water.
Hmm.
I mean, Stellaris is in a completely different playing field, I think, but also Paradox game. They know what they're doing with 4X games.
Right. Very cool. Nice. Is it on? I doubt it's on console. I strongly doubt it, but
I don't know.
I'll have to look at that. All right. We have gotten to the final round. All of our favorite games of the year. I'm excited to see what you guys got. I think I know what Justin's is. I have no idea about Josh or Adam. Well, I think I
Really?
might know, I might know Adam's too.
What's your
If
guess before I say it?
huh?
Before I say it, what's your guess?
Sea of Thieves?
No, I've played that for
Okay,
years.
that's
That
why I
doesn't
was
count.
saying that's
That's
the
my
only
pick
thing
of
I
the
wrote
year.
down.
We already
Yeah,
joked about
right,
that, but
right.
that's fine.
All right. Does anybody have Justin? Josh, you have any idea what Adam's number one is?
Age of Wonders 4 is on Xbox.
Oh hell yeah. Okay.
And PlayStation 5. Um,
What did you say?
I don't have any idea.
Justin,
I feel if I racked my brain enough,
What
I
was
could
the question?
maybe. But
if you had to guess what Adam's number one game is, any idea?
Maybe the new Zelda.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Man
forgot that
knows
game came out.
knows me well.
There you go.
That was my number one game of the year. Tears of the Kingdom.
Hell yeah.
Because dude, it's Breath of the Wild, but cranked up to 11. Like the addition of being able to like add things and people making these just super creative like monstrosities of devices, like they added stuff that we didn't realize that we wanted or needed, and that's kind of what they did with Breath of the Wild. And Tears of the Kingdom like found things that again we didn't realize we wanted or needed in a Zelda game, and my god, they were amazing. The whole addition of the Underdark like area, it like doubled the map size basically, and oh, I can't talk enough about that game. That game is so fucking good. It's so good. It's like Breath of the Wild, but way, way, way better.
So, if you're from my
It's
point of
so
view,
good.
if it's from my point of view, would it be Breath of the Wild, but way, way, way worse?
There's ways that you can fix your items so they don't ever break.
Ooh, that helps. That helps a little bit.
That was
When
my
you
favorite.
add certain things to them, it actually like brings back durability. But they explain like in this game why there's actually like shit's breaking now. Like
Right.
there's a lore reason now. At least in the last one they didn't really explain it. In this one it's like all the weapons you come across are corrupt essentially, and they
okay.
explain why things are like breaking.
Gotcha.
But you
Well,
have
if I s-
ways to remove the corruption and like bring
Okay.
them back, which is
I
really
think I
kinda
still
fun.
have your old Zelda.
Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
probably.
If I haven't played that, is it a bad idea to play the second one?
There's definitely parts where it's like nods to it, but I don't think you need to have played it.
Okay.
Like there's really neat parts where like Kat and I as we were playing, we're like, oh, do you remember this from Breath of the Wild? And like you can see how things have changed a little bit. But if you don't have that, it's not like the end of the world, obviously. It's kind of its own new story. It's years past the original Breath of the Wild. So
Hell yeah. Very cool. Now I'm never gonna play it. Not my cup of
I
tea.
know
But
you're missing out, and that's fine.
I can appreciate it for what it is. Like I understand the people who love it. I understand why they love it. It's just not my thing. So
Dude,
Kind of like me in survival games. Like
yeah,
it's
there you go.
it's one
I
of those
appreciate that
games.
you guys appreciate it.
Right.
Just typically not my thing.
It's one of those games that I can appreciate that you can look at a puzzle and there's just thousands of ways to tackle that
Right.
problem. And some of the times you watch people do it and you're like, I never even thought you could fucking do it that way. Holy shit. How did you even how many times did it take you to figure that out? Like holy
Right,
shit.
right.
Like
Yeah.
just the being able to piece all these things together and slap things together, and it's so creative, man. Like it's not like to the level where you're like making like Mario Maker levels sort of thing, but it
Right.
is almost like you can slap things together and do some really cool things.
Nice.
Just puts a fucking shit-eating grin on my face
Yeah,
whenever
there you
I
go.
see that shit, dude. Like,
Very nice.
it's so cool. It was so amazing of them. They made an amazing game. They really did.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hell yeah. Very nice. All right, Josh. Okay, before you go, any guesses on Josh? I have no fucking idea. I know what I want it to be, but it's not going to be that.
I technically thought of another game that I've played
Yeah,
this
is it
year.
the one I'm thinking of?
Well, so I've technically played 2 additional games than the ones I've referenced that I can think of.
The only one that I was thinking of earlier that I was like, I don't think this would be your game of the year, but TMNT.
That's the one that I thought of while we were talking. Is I'm like, oh, the Shredder's Revenge. Like, I forgot I played that. That game is fun.
Okay,
So that would
so
be an honorable mention.
mine, you played, unless you played more, you played 10 minutes of Persona 5.
I have yet to play
My game
more
of the
than
year,
10
Persona
minutes.
5. And
Yeah, 5 minutes
Uh,
in.
and that means that I can't use it for next year's game of the year because I've
Yeah,
played 10
'cause you
minutes of
played
it
10
this year.
minutes.
Uh,
Look,
and I
Josh,
think it's
we all
like
know you're not
8.
going back.
No.
We all know you're not going back to that game.
Well, I mean, eventually I might go back to Persona 4. I've put in 30 minutes into that. No, but there is another game that I admittedly have not put a ton of time into, which is my number 1. It is not Persona.
I'm curious. I don't have any guesses.
I have no idea.
Armored Core.
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
Souls, like, by FromSoft, except for I can be a giant fighter robot. My shelf of Gundam, really, like, this is such a good game. Such a good game. I have not beaten it. I honestly need to put in more time, but just since I don't game all that often.
Right.
It's also hard. I mean, it's a FromSoft game,
From
right?
Software. I'd hope it's hard. Yeah.
But it's hard in a different way than like a Souls game. Just
Steel?
what's that?
Like a titanium steel, that kind of hard.
Well, more like
Like,
diamond. It's like diamond hard, like
Damn.
compressed carbon.
Vibranium,
Adamantium.
adamantium. I was gonna go there next.
So
That's metal.
it's different because like you can describe Souls games as a lot of things, but fast typically isn't
No.
on that list. I mean, there are fast monsters and there's fast bosses and there's fast speedrunners in Souls games, but Dark Souls tends to be more of like a calculating, learning,
Methodical. Yeah.
methodical, where you can't just run in there and like stab a boss because you're gonna get fucked unless you
Destroyed.
are incredibly good, which I am not. But Armored Core rewards you for using the beam saber, so like getting up in its face and just like stabbing it to death. But you're also like essentially on your robot's on like skates. So you move super quickly and then can use thrusters to like I don't know, move side to side pretty quickly. Plus you have the 3 dimensions of you have like a jetpack and you can fly around and whatever. So it's difficult in that it's like a FromSoft game, it's they don't give you anything for free, right? But it's a different kind of difficult in that there's a lot of like enemies, shit's blowing up because they're shooting rockets at you, but you're like skating around dodging shit. And so it just is like a very uniquely different experience than like what I'm traditionally aware of for like FromSoft games because I haven't played the previous Armored Core games, so I don't know how different this holds up into comparison. But
I don't know if I've ever played one.
Yeah,
I think 1 or 2 like back in the day,
Yeah,
like
way
early
back in the day.
PlayStation.
PlayStation 1.
And I didn't never realized it was the same people as Souls, like for the longest
Uh.
time. Like it was just like, wait, That checks out though.
I knew the name. Like, what's it? Steel Battalion was like another giant fighter robot game that I had never
Had that
played.
huge remote control thing that you
That's
could
the only
get with
reason I
it.
remember it.
Yeah,
Because I
that was
want one of
amazing.
those.
Yeah. Same.
But it just yeah, I never play, and I won't say that you need to play the previous games because I mean the story is pretty good without it. Thus, what I've completed thus far. But I imagine that there's probably lore and context, and you understand who these people are and why they're fighting. Probably more if you know the universe. But I won't say that I was ever held back because I have no idea who these people are or what their conflict is. Because I'm a giant fighter robot and I could stab shit to death. Like,
you just blow up robots. That's
yeah,
fine.
no, good. I could shoot rockets and shit. Like, yeah. So, just incredibly like satisfying game. Very fun, and definitely it's with Persona 5 on my. I need to play more of it like this coming year.
Right.
And yeah.
I just feel I have not played. I've watched clips of it, and I feel like the whole time I was playing, I would just be like, I wish we could get a good Gundam game. We've never gotten a goddamn good Gundam game ever.
I feel like we have gotten a good Gundam game. They just named it Armored Core.
Yeah.
Like it's the closest thing that I can imagine. There was like a giant fighter robot game for the Switch a while back that was pretty fun. I'm trying to think of what it was called. But yeah, I haven't really enjoyed any of the Gundam games that I played, but it would be sick to be, I mean, like my personal favorite, like the Unicorn Gundam, just like owning shit. But like, even if it's like the 78A, like the Gundam everyone knows as the Gundam, like that would be sick. And I know probably what you're thinking, Gundam Wing. Death Scythe Gundam.
Death Scythe, fuck yeah, that's where it's at.
Would be sick. That show sucked, but the Gundams from Gundam Wing are so good.
Right.
But
hell yeah.
But anyway, Armored Core. I would recommend it. I should play more of it, but I probably enjoyed.
Is there a multiplayer or versus?
I have no idea.
Isn't there a PvP mode? I thought there was.
I think there is a PvP mode, but I think it's similar to like a Souls game where it's like not
right.
It's like
you're like
in
addition to a world of some sort. Yeah, it's some weird. You gotta use some ambiguous item or something.
Right. So there isn't like a it's not meant to be a multiplayer game in the way that I think you mean.
I feel like every game like that should just have a versus mode. Expand your.
Not From Software.
Yeah, but that type of game seems like it would benefit.
Not From Software.
So I imagine like a Titanfall type.
Yeah.
Like PvP.
Exactly.
I would say this wouldn't necessarily lend itself perfectly, just in it, like, I don't know, like it being, third person and whatever. I don't know that it would be quite as good as Titanfall multiplayer was. Titanfall 2 specifically, because I didn't play Titanfall 1. Also,
2 is the only one that
matters. It's a FromSoft game, so it has probably the shittiest netcode known to man, and people will just teleport across the map and then you explode your robot. So that would kind of blow. But for how good their games are, my god, their netcode is trash. But
multiplayer is always a side thought in their games.
But I mean, it's not really the point, right?
Exactly.
Like,
it never is.
It's a added bonus, but it it's like in addition to the game. You have the game, and then there's some PvP stuff kind of there for you if you want to.
Sprinkled in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even like a 2v2. Okay, I'll drop it.
Alright, yeah, let's move on. Okay, my turn next. Anybody have any guesses?
I mean, you play so many goddamn games.
I do. I play a lot of games.
Yeah. I kind of expected Spider-Man to be
Yeah.
higher, and I expected Baldur's Gate 3 to
If
be higher.
If I had finished it, I think Baldur's Gate would be number 2. I don't think it would be my number 1 game. I fucking love my number 1 game.
If finishing it was a criteria, I would have no games
Was-
on my list.
Yeah.
Ooh, was there a new God of War this year?
There was not. Hint,
What's-
Adam is about to be really proud of me.
Ooh,
Mm,
he finally played
there-
Tarkov. No, he did not. I did not. Just kidding.
My game of the
I have no
year
idea.
is a Souls game, and it is called, well, not
Souls
legit Souls like, Lies of P.
Oh yeah! Wow,
So
that's
Lies-
surprising actually.
it is fucking outstanding, and Josh and Adam have to play it. You guys have to play
Did
it.
you get
I need
all
to.
the endings yet?
So
Wasn't
this
that
game is
Adam's
without
honorable
spoiling
mention?
anything? It was one
Yeah.
of my honorable mention. Yep.
yeah. So this game's so good. I finished it. Immediately launched New Game Plus, and I'm about halfway through my second playthrough already.
Dude, that's like
Damn.
Elden Ring. Like I
Dude.
just like played that game like 5 times in a row.
It is so fucking good. So Adam, you did this was Liza P was in your honorable mention?
Yep.
Oh, dude, I
that-
missed
it was
that.
it was my second honorable mention.
Did you
Except
finish
it's
it?
not very good.
Did you
No, it's
finish it?
really good. I have not finished it.
Okay.
But a coworker of mine, like he's beaten it multiple times, all the endings and like kind of been telling stuff
Right.
about it. And like no, what I've played, it is fantastic. And
It
I haven't got that super far.
yeah, like it's super challenging. There are parts where I wanted to whip my controller through my TV for sure.
Yup.
That absolutely happened. But I don't know, man. I've never I don't know if I technically consider Elden Ring a Souls game just because of the open
Oh, it
world
is.
element. I mean,
It
it is,
is.
but
It
it
is.
isn't.
It is.
It
It
is, but it
100%
isn't.
is.
But this is like the first more
On
linear.
rails, sorta, yeah. I know what you
Yes.
mean. Yeah.
This is the first linear Souls game I've ever played that I've loved. I'm thinking about going back and trying to Dark Souls. We'll see.
Did you ever play Bloodborne? I can't remember.
Yeah, so Bloodborne I did. I thought it was good, but it wasn't like
It's a
It's
good
not like-
introductory kind
yeah,
of. I
right.
feel like Lies of P is a good introductory.
yes.
And if you really like it, like go play Dark Souls 3
Dark Souls
Right.
3 is what I would
is
recommend.
where I would go to next. Yeah.
So I
you
played
could
what's that?
you could technically go to Dark Souls 1 remaster,
Right.
but it definitely shows its age, even the remaster, because it's like just the original game with
Right.
slightly
Or what is it?
better graphics.
Two scholars or whatever that was.
Scholars of the First Sin, I think.
Yeah, That's
that
also not a bad place to start. That's kind of where I went to after Bloodborne was
Right.
Dark Souls 2 and loved
Dark
it,
Souls-
but Souls 3 is way better.
Dark Souls 2 is the first Souls game that I played, and thus it holds a very special part in my heart. It's also the worst Souls game. I love that game. I recommend it to everyone. But if if I'm gonna recommend this is the Souls game that you're gonna get into,
Right.
Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
It's the most polished. It has the best story for the
Got
Souls games.
amazing weapons and armor. Like everything about it.
It's just
super good.
Significantly the better game of all of them. Although I prefer parts of Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2, and I prefer all of the aesthetic of Bloodborne. Everything about Bloodborne's theme, I much prefer. But
So I was gonna bring that up. So Liza P aesthetically, it's like a cross between Bloodborne and BioShock. Like
Yeah.
it is. I love the aesthetic. I love the world. It is fucking awesome. Like and a lot of it's like gray and dreary, like Bloodborne, right? But then I think I sent you guys a screenshot of this. There's one part where you get to this opera house, and you open up the doors, the front doors of the opera house, and it's like bright white and reds. It's like this totally different tone shift, and then you get the shit kicked out of you the second you walk in the door. But
Sounds about right. Because
yeah,
YouTube is like, ooh, what's that? Oh
yeah.
God, what's that?
But
Sounds classic.
the enemies are super cool. There's a huge variety of enemies. They're all super cool, very challenging. And I gotta say, like, there's 13 chapters in the game. And I was like, I feel like this is going by too fast, honestly. Like, this is gonna be a short game. The 13th, the final chapter, is a fucking gauntlet, dude. It is like everything you've learned throughout the game, it puts all of it to the test over like I want to say that one chapter alone was like 3 hours. Like it is. And you're just climbing this like tower the whole chapter. That's all it is. Trying to get to the top and it's fucking challenging, man. But I had so fun. The weapon varieties are super cool. The special moves you get are super cool. Like the whole Pinocchio thing. Um is super awesome. Like, and then when you beat the game, no spoilers, I'm not gonna say, but there's like a post credit scene. Um, and I
Adam and I know what
fucking
this is.
I
you
know
do?
somebody spoiled this for me.
What?
I,
Really?
I have not been spoiled
I'm
yet,
not
so
saying
don't
I'm
don't be
Yeah.
not
don't be
gonna
doing
say
it. Don't
anything.
be doing it.
I was disappointed when it was spoiled for me a little
But
Well,
I
and
bit.
was like,
it was real quick. It was really funny because um his
Like
coworker,
Cam's
our
in chat too,
coworker,
because
yeah, Cam's in chat. Our coworker is mentioning this, and Cam just randomly guessed right.
what? Are you serious?
Yeah,
yeah,
and then we were saying don't say it, and then we
because I
realized
was muted
Adam,
at the time. I was in
or
Sea of
yeah,
Thieves, like talking to somebody in game or something, so I was
I
definitely
think you
muted.
actually stepped away, but you
Or
were
it's,
away,
yeah, something like that.
and then we realized you weren't there. So then we told him to shut up, don't spoil it for Adam, and then Adam comes back, and Cam literally just says it. It's like, what the fuck, Cam?
Oh Jesus.
Because I was like, that's really cool. Never would have expected that,
No,
and I'm
that's what I'm
curious how
saying.
that works.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
yeah,
it's something I never even thought that I would want or would cross my mind.
hmm
But once they did it, I was like, "No
you're like,
fucking
oh,
way. Holy
yeah,
shit."
Cam
Okay,
said,
yeah.
sorry, oops, my bad.
I'm gonna call it. I'm
Love you,
making a
Cam.
guess
It's
right
fine.
now. I'm making
Okay,
a
Okay.
guess.
guess. Turns out all of this was a lead to an elaborate collaboration where you have a sex scene with the Baldur's Gate 3 people.
Oh shit.
It is goddamn I'm so
Am
I'm sorry.
I close?
I'm
Am I
sorry that
close?
you spoiled it for everyone, and I feel
There
terrible.
you go, Josh.
I called it.
But like Adam said, like, how are they gonna do it? What are they gonna do with it? I can't wait to fucking see. I cannot wait to see. And I don't know if it'll be like DLC or a whole new game. We'll find out.
I'm hoping separate,
Yes, I do too.
not
I
DLC,
agree. I agree.
because it deserves its own
Oh, for
thing
sure.
with how
100%.
big that is. I'm trying to be super
100%.
vague, so
Yeah, right. But yeah, when you find out what it is,
Josh
you're
is
just
like
like,
figuring it out already
right.
somehow magically.
When you find out what it is, you're like, holy fuck. So, all right.
Just shows how good
Anyways,
of a guesser Cam is.
no shit. I
Mhm.
don't know how he would have done that. Never in a million years would I have guessed that.
Any
Never.
Christopher works in multiverse. Good point.
Yeah.
Anything can work.
He's not wrong.
All right. It's Pinocchio's gonna be a Fortnite skin. That's what it is. That's
Sure
what
it
it
is
is.
already,
Josh.
right?
Yeah.
They've got like fucking
Right.
thousands of skins.
Yeah.
I'm sure it already is.
All right. So that wraps up my list. Justin, you're gonna finish us off here. What's your number one game of the year? Oh, we have to guess.
I mean,
Try and
I think
guess.
you already guessed it.
Oh, did you start playing that? Did that come out this year? Oh, are you talking about my number 5 pick?
I think
Is
so.
your number 1 pick?
Baldur's Gate?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my guess.
What was your...
New
What were you
World.
thinking? Oh, yeah,
But
no. Yeah, Baldur's Gate, I kind of was tough because I've played Act 1 twice in the different stages of pre-alpha, but
Mhm.
since it actually came out, sadly I'm only through Act 1, which had way more content than it did in
The
like you
alpha.
could get to almost the same spot, but there was just
Oh yeah.
way more things to do. Um, and I heard that they were adding more endings and fixing some things, so I wanted to
Okay.
give it a pause. Sort of the same reason, Sons of Forest, any of those games, let them get a little more polished. But I mean, everything you said earlier, the characters, voice acting, just general performances are fun. There's so many different ways to go about it. I'm doing this first playthrough as a boring, mostly good drow fighter, dual wield.
Oh, there you
Actually,
go.
I think right now he's got a one hand because the perk is good. But one of these days, I'd like to do start a co-op with a few people.
Yeah, hell
But
yeah.
it's just such a good game. I love that there's a bajillion ways to handle things, or like drag a fire barrel from however many feet away and set it up for a battle that you can make people run into, or
Right.
whatever. There's so many different options, um, a bajillion ways that you can even do interactions. You can end up with people helping you later or killing them early, or you know what I mean. Like there's just
Right.
so many things that I would imagine you will get bored of it before you ever figured or saw all the different
For sure.
options.
For sure.
I
Yeah,
just think that's
it's
really cool.
super solid. Yeah. I think had I finished the game, and would probably be my number 2, maybe number 1, I don't know, but super solid. Very good game. Fuck yeah, good choice. Also, you agree with all of the game critics that won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, so there you go. Yeah.
Just like
Baldur's
swept.
Gate 3 won Game
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awards.
Yep.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yep. So, all right, that wraps up our list, gentlemen. Uh we're going to do a quick pick of the year and then we'll get out of here. Just the best thing you came across this year, since we're all going to be in 2024 the next time we record. So I have an honorable mention for this one. I think Adam does too. So should we just get that out of the way, Adam? What's the honorable mention?
Uh, Get One Piece live
Yep.
action.
Hell yeah. Live action One Piece. If you have not watched it yet, you absolutely have to. It's very good.
It's so
Um,
good.
very good. But Adam, what is your pick of the year?
Uh, Being reintroduced again and loving every second of it back into Sea of Thieves.
Nice.
That was my Tarkov before Tarkov was introduced to my life, and now that I'm not playing Tarkov, it is Tarkov. Wait, what?
Yeah, you
It's
are
the OG Tarkov.
right. You're super into it. Like you brought it up multiple episodes, so fuck yeah.
It's like the only game I play anymore. Again, kind of like I did for
Before
years.
Lethal Company came out, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That is a fact. Until Lethal Company came out, now when we have a few people, it's like, yeah, let's play some Lethal Company instead.
Right.
Well, I like how you can obviously dive in, but since it's procedural generated and whatnot, even if you're not going to get very far, you can at least boot it up and
Yep.
fuck around.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
But no, Sea of Thieves way better.
Good choice. Good choice.
Just like
Jo-
the addition of the seasons and like the adding the
oh,
guild
right.
and like there's just they just added safer seas last week. So now there's like a PvE server. So if you
Oh,
don't like PvP stuff and you don't want to fight pirates, you can have your own server now.
hmm,
They just introduced that last week.
But you
Granted,
get
there's
less.
yeah, you get less gold, less reputation. There's certain things you just can't do. You can't become pirate legend. You can't fly your guild. You can't do a lot of things in safer
interesting.
seas. It's kind of like an extended tutorial, like how to get your feet wet in the game, sort of thing. Is pretty much what it's coined as and stuff like that. I haven't really spent hardly any time in it at all because I feel like the game half the fun of the game is knowing that your shit can get lost at any time. Someone can just roll up and sink you and steal your shit.
Right.
So,
Right.
but whatever.
Josh, what's yours?
So mine's gonna be a tool. which is the
A
tool
band.
that I have. What's that? The
band.
band tool. Maynard James Keenan, and I think that's what his name is, from the lead singer of Tool. No, so I bought a Bamboo Labs Carbon or X1 Carbon 3D printer. I technically it arrived December of last year, so this might be cheating.
Cutting it close. Cutting it close.
Yeah, a little bit of cheating there. But I would consider myself a hobbyist in most ways that the definition can be applied. So like when Justin was talking about getting a 3D printer, I'm like, heads up, it's going to require like work. You have to maintain them. They're going to have to just try to fix random problems that you don't foresee. Like this is going to be like, it has to be like a hobby. And that thing has been a tank. I had my very first jam on it 2 days ago. So it waited
for about a year.
I've been using it for a year, printing on it, a few times a week.
I've had mine for about a year, and I've had 2 jams that I've had to fix. So
yeah, and part of it is like, they're getting better, right? Back the Robo 3D R1s that Adam and I had, man, that thing jammed constantly. But that also is quite a few years old now.
Yeah.
But this thing prints
4 or 5.
Longer than that.
It's getting up there. It was a very early 3D printing technology.
Because I feel like I bought that while I still worked with y'all, and that was over 8 years ago. So it's going on like 10 years old now. But this thing has been an absolute tank. It prints at like I have a larger format printer, and it prints 5 times as fast as the larger. It's like and better quality. It's just been like a serious workhorse for me, and I've been able to do like so many more projects, like little dashboards for Gasland stuff, and like random, let's see, like tool hole like containers for my desk. I am actively printing. I bought like a squat rack for working out, and I'm printing like a phone holder that I designed for that. And I don't know. I love 3D printing like as a hobby, but this thing has been dope.
Speaking of, we still need to chat about my Malifaux holder that we need to figure out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Very nice. Justin, pick of the year.
Aren't I last?
Oh fuck, I keep forgetting. Sorry. My pick of the year is a person. Joe Abercrombie. So I've read every one of his books this year, all of them. So actually he has some like YA stuff, but I haven't read that. But he's got the First Law trilogy, the First Law World trilogy, and the Age of Madness trilogy. I read all 3 of those, and then I also read his like short story collection called The Sharp Ends. So literally I started in January. In the span of 1 year, I read every single one of his books. It's because he's that fucking good. If you have not read it, it's super dark. Well, not super dark. It's dark. Every character is morally gray. Like there's no such thing as good versus evil in his stories.
Yeah, I'm 3/4 of the way through before they're hanged.
Oh wow, okay.
And all of the characters kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like I root for them. I really enjoy the characters, but I'm like, ooh, you're not a good guy. Like they're all kind of bad guys. Just in their own unique ways.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to like think. Like there's some characters that are better than others that you root for, but
For sure.
everybody's done some fucked up shit. Like they've all, yeah. So there's no like it's not a good versus evil story like a classic fantasy. And another thing I really like about it is there is magic, but it's definitely on the back burner. Like it is not front and center the point of the story. Um, in fact, Age of Madness trilogy is kind of about magic is disappearing and like the industrial age coming and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, super. I love the characters. The Bloody Nine, Logan Nine Fingers is one of my favorite characters ever. Um, like it's
Him.
just it's so good. It is so good. Um, I can't recommend it enough, man. Like if you're into fantasy books, absolutely check them out. So and they get better as they go. Like they just keep getting better. So definitely check it out. So Justin, wrap us up. Pick of the year.
So where I was struggling with this, I almost said Townsfolk Tussle, but I think technically we played that before. But it's been my favorite board game for a couple reasons. So this is an honorable mention,
Okay.
but the co-op is really good. I like that depending on how you beat the playthrough that you're on, you can unlock new cards or items or things that are permanently introduced to the game going forward. I think that's cool. Um, Marissa likes it, so that's a big plus. She actually has fun and understands it. Like it's not a super complicated game, but the strategy and tactics that you decide to do are. And so I think that's really cool. Like that would be up there with the Final Fantasy Tactics type grid.
Yeah.
Um, but really good game. But my pick of the year has got to be The Last of Us
Oh fuck yeah. God damn
because
that show was good.
that show was
Mhm.
super good. Like blew my expectations out of the water.
Right. Uh yeah, far better, which by the way, at the Game Awards they had best adaptation and like the first nominee they announced was The Last of Us. I was like, it doesn't fucking matter who they announce after this. Like it doesn't even and of course they won. like um but yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, dude. Such a good adaptation of that show. So good. Um they did you see casting news for season 2?
Mm-mm.
They found well, there's a character in the Last of Us Part 2 named Abby and Abby got
Ooh,
cast. Abby got
re-
cast. So,
really?
yep.
Was it the same girl that auditioned to be fucking what's her name? I think I read an article actually now that you say that.
Can't
The
remember what her
girl,
name is.
the main
Oh, did
Jill
she
and
Ellie?
Ellie, yeah, Ellie.
Did she interview for Ellie or try to
I
get Ellie
think
too? I didn't
so.
know that.
I think so.
Interesting.
Or either that or like that's who all the fans wanted to play Ellie
Oh, gotcha. That could be.
back in the day. I don't know. Long story short, I don't know if that's the same woman,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, so they already got casting for season 2. I can't fucking wait. God damn it, I can't wait. Um,
I did
but yeah,
like Twisted Metal
I haven't watched it.
video game one, but
That got renewed for season 2 as well.
it was entertaining. I liked the characters. It was like it's just a goofy action show,
Right,
I
right.
don't
and
see
it
this
it
actress
did its.
doing Abby well, unless she's like
Uh,
fucking
I
bulks
was
like
gonna say she's
crazy.
she's gonna
She's
have
got to
to
start
fucking bulk.
bulking now.
Oh yeah, she's gonna bulk.
I was like, what? I like looked at it. I'm like, I don't see it.
Like the second she got the job, you better be hitting that goddamn gym, cause
There's no way.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Um. All right, yeah. Twisted Metal that got renewed for season 2. I have not seen that yet though, but I'll have to check it out. All right. I think that's it, gentlemen. I think we are wrapped up. This will be the last episode of an Identity Crisis in 2023. We will be back next week for Nerds in Space. Otherwise, thank you everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. And we will see you in 2024. Bye, Twitch. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.